Can estrogen replacement therapy help you build muscle and burn body fat? Watch this.
Our first caller is Pam from California.
Hey, Pam, how can we help you?
Hey, guys. Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on. And it's really great to listen to a podcast that's informative and entertaining.
Thank you.
So, thank you. I am asking about hormones for perimenopausal women. I'm just going to read my question. I'm wondering if you have any answers regarding perimenopausal women getting estrogen replacement therapy and how it affects you in regards to weight, muscle mass, and body fat.
Great question. Look, can I ask you what your symptoms were and why you went on estrogen?
I did not go on estrogen. Okay. I don't want to go on estrogen. So a little context. I'm 46. I have been a lifelong cardio girl until about last June. And since then, I have gained about 10 pounds, some of it intentionally, some of it not. And granted, I probably needed to gain some of that weight. I started with night sweats a few months ago. And a few years ago, I started having a lot of issues with sleep. Okay. So my concern is weight gain. Okay. I'm not going to lie. I am a fitness fanatic and I want to stay lean. I want to stay fit. And
okay, great question. So Pam, you mind if I ask you some more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a history of any dysfunctional eating or let's say unhealthy? Okay.
When I was in college, so I was like 20, 25 years old, but as you know, those thoughts don't totally go away.
Yeah. Yeah. They never do. They never do. I can totally relate to that because, I struggled with my own body image issues and they'll still it'll still rear its head when I'm under stress or I feel like life's a little out of control. You said you gained 10 pounds and you kind of made the comment that you feel like, well, you probably should have gained or you needed to gain that 10 pounds.
Last April, I was about $112.
Okay.
And which was I'm 5'7", way too skinny for me. I know that. So I intentionally increased my calories from about probably 2,000 calories to around 2,300. By the summer, I was around 116. I was happy with that. And then I got your book. I started one of your programs June 1st. I ran that. Then I decided I tried KB4A. I liked that. So then I did anabolic. And I gained the rest of the weight pretty much from when I started anabolic until now.
Okay. And you're 5'7", so that puts you at what, 122?
Yeah.
Okay. How would you feel about intentionally trying to put on more body weight and body fat?
Well, I backed off going on the scale so much. I had a DEXA done in November because I was freaking out about it. And my body fat at that time was around 14.5%.
Yeah. Okay. So I've been doing this a long time. Okay. And just based on the way that you're answering my questions and some of the information that you're giving me, I'm going to say that you've had some kind of issues with body image in the past.
Yeah.
I think a lot of what you may be feeling is due to the fact that you probably need to put on more weight and more body fat. The female body in particular is quite sensitive to being too lean or too high under stress, physical stress. So if you exercise a lot, you're not necessarily feeding yourself enough, then you'll start to exhibit symptoms of low estrogen, or you may have low estrogen, or you'll have an imbalance of estrogen and progesterone. And you'll notice things like low libido, irritability, sleep disturbances, hair, skin, and nails will seem like they're not as healthy. Obviously, go ahead.
I'm sorry. The thing is I've always been skinny. Like I've never had a problem with my weight, but when I started your programs, I intentionally cut out a lot of cardio. So because I wanted to do your programs and gain some strength and gain some muscle. So I don't know.
Well, look, if you were my client, and by the way, this will be hard. Okay. It's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One, because of your past, that you're afraid of gaining weight. You're not weighing yourself. So that tells me right there that you may be triggered from seeing the scale change in a direction you don't want to. It's going to be tough, but I would say try and move in that direction. Try and move in the direction, continue moving in the direction of strength, of eating more calories. In particular, you want to give yourself the essential nutrients, fats and proteins, although carbohydrates are not bad. So I would eat carbs as well. But really push yourself and move yourself in that direction. Don't weigh yourself on the scale. Your best gauge is going to be your strength in the gym. In fact, you're following some of our programs. Do you have MAPS Powerlift?
No, actually, I'm finishing aesthetic now, and I was gonna do strong.
Strong is fine, but I think powerlift would be even better, because the goal that I would want you to focus on is strength. If your strength is moving up, you're going in the right direction. Also, what it'll do is it'll take your focus away from body to performance. And that is, in my experience, when I've worked with people in your situation, the easiest transition is to go from body to performance. To go from body to ignoring the body to, it's like you need to focus on something. So if I can get you to focus on strength, and all you do is single-mindedly, I want to get my bench press, my deadlift, and my squat to go up. And if those are going up, then you're doing the right thing. If they're not going up, then you probably need to eat more. You probably need to bump your calories a little more. So just try to get as strong as you can with MAPS Powerlift. I'll send that to you. Okay, I'm gonna send that over to you. I also want you in the forum, Pam, because I
am in your forum.
Oh, wonderful. I want updates. I want you to tag me, tag the guys. Let us know what's going on, because you're going to need support this entire time. Because here's what's going to happen. You're going to get stronger. You're going to do what I'm saying. You're going to say, okay, Sal said eat more, push the strength. Then you may notice clothes may start to feel different. You notice your legs feel a little different. You're going to want that support along the way. Now, what's going to come along with that is improvements in mood, improvements in energy, improvements in sleep. All that will start to follow. But strength is going to be the gauge I want you to measure the entire time. So if your strength is going up, you're moving in the right direction. That'll be the best indicator that you're doing everything the right way. At the end of that, if you've gained lots of strength and you start to feel good, I doubt you're going to need to go on something like estrogen. Body fat can have a significant impact on a woman's hormone levels. Having too little body fat or not, or overtraining, or not feeding yourself enough, or a combination of all three, almost always will cause a hormone imbalance. Almost always. So once you fix those, then you may notice that you're like, okay, I think I feel a lot better.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to make a comment that I actually think that we're the wrong professionals in this conversation, meaning that I know your desired outcome of asking us, because you respect our knowledge around weight training and body composition, and that is our expertise. But I also think that's the wrong focus for you right now. Like like you need to do what's best for your body. And the advice that Sal's giving, I think, is excellent advice. But the best support I think that you can get is from somebody who's helping you work through all those things that we all, I think most people have it. Very few people are willing to admit it and talk about it. I think the fact that you're open enough to share that.
Oh, well, I've gotten I'm recovered. I mean, that was a long time ago. But those thoughts, they just, they never go away. You're always
100%. And that to me, this whole thing will be that. It'll be that the mental battle. It's less about the X's and O's from us as far as like, oh, follow this eating and do this training. It's like more of like, these things are going to rear its head. I need to make sure I'm mentally prepared for it. Stay the course.
Talking through it, support.
Do what's healthy for my body, not necessarily what I maybe want or want to see. And so I do like the idea of though being in the forum. I think that we can be a great support. But absolutely, your body's probably asking you to put on a little bit of weight, and I think after you do that, I think you will start to see things move in the right direction.
And focusing on strength is just a great. In your case, it's a healthy distraction. It's a healthy direction, because what's going to be tough for you is to change your focus and not have it go on something else, because it's going to want to go there. So if I could take your single-minded focus. You said you're a fitness fanatic, so I know you have that.
Yeah.
If you could take your single-minded focus and make it strength and say, okay, I'm going to follow MAPS Powerlift. Let's see what I can do in the 3 big lifts. Let's see what I can hit in those 3 big lifts. It'll be it'll give you enough space for you to move in the right direction. And then that space, it gives you the space for awareness is what it does. Okay. So I'm giving you all the kind of like, why we do it, but I think that's the right direction. And then, Adam's absolutely right. Like if this is challenging in a more mental aspect, then you're probably going to want to work with someone along the way.
Yeah, I understand that. But because what about the effects of estrogen on the woman's body? Because I know men, they're testosterone tanks and they get testosterone. What about for women? Is that beneficial, or is it, or the risks outweigh the benefits?
No. So okay. I want to disclaimer: we're not doctors, but
I know that. Yeah.
Estrogen is extremely important hormone for both men and women for health, longevity, strength, muscle gain. So a man could have testosterone that's through the roof. His estrogen can be in the floor, and you'll have trouble building muscle. So, and for women, estrogen that's too low, I mean, you feel like garbage. Your body doesn't adapt well. But hormones are adaptive to your lifestyle, right? They tend to reflect your lifestyle. Now, let's say you do everything right. Let's say you're healthy, you're following everything right, your body fat percentage is great, you're not too lean, you're feeding yourself, you're getting stronger, hormones are still a little off, then you can look into hormone replacement or supplementation. Okay. At that point, what you're looking at is quality of life. Because the risk versus benefit really falls there. What's the quality of life benefit that I'm going to get? But I would bet that if you moved in the right direction with your training nutrition, I would bet that your hormone levels would also move in the right direction. Okay. That's very, very likely.
Yeah, I see that.
But if somebody's estrogen is off and they're trying to do everything right and it's still off, and they supplement and it brings it up to more optimal levels, they're going to react better to exercise.
Pamela, are you in our holistic health forum, the one with Dr. Cabral's team?
No, I'm not.
Oh yeah, they'll go there.
Yeah, I think there'd be some value of you getting. It's a free forum. Okay. It's on Facebook. Okay. Yeah, it's Mind Pump Holistic Health and
MP.
Oh, it's MP. Sorry, MP Holistic Health.
Okay.
And his team is incredible. They're in there, and they do talk a lot about this stuff. And so, as you're going through it, that'll be another really good group to add to.
Okay. No, I'll check it out for sure.
All right. Thanks for calling in, and we'll send you Mass Power Lift. Okay.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Pam.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
I tell you what, is going through body image issue stuff was such a gift. Now I can look back and because it's something I can recognize and
right away.
Yeah, you can recognize it. When you talk to somebody right away, kind of what's going on. And people don't know, but they who are watching, they'll send us their full question. And there's information here that I can see that she didn't say on the podcast, like how she's trying to regulate her mood and irritability and libido and all this other stuff. And then based on how she's talking and what she's saying and her fear of gaining weight, and then of course I can see her on video. I had a pretty educated guess on kind of what was going on. That's why I asked her those questions, and that'll make a huge difference. But that doesn't mean she's going to do it. That's the challenging thing. Now you got to do it, and you got to fight that inner voice that says, "Oh my God, you're getting fat." Oh my God,
I'm glad you brought up getting professional to kind of consult with as well in that regard, in terms of having some kind of another professional voice in there, because a lot of this is just conversations that need to be had continuously. Yep. And it's not necessarily like, here's the playbook and then just go do it, because, you could just see the resistance immediately to any kind of advice. And it's just, that's kind of the mental state that she's in. And so to be able to work through that, I think would be the best.
It's a quick default for me, because I failed a lot of women that I trained that were in this position, because I was trying to give them what I thought was what they wanted, which was the answer, like, oh, you want to stay lean, so we'll do this, So I was being the coach with the answers, with macros.
You were dealing with the smoke, but not the fire.
That's right. Yeah. And so I'm very aware of it when I see it, and know better than to even if I do have the answers to their question, I know there's an underlining thing that needs to be addressed that's far more important than the questions that they're asking me. And so I almost always hey, I'm not the right guy for this.
Same here.
Let me tell you who's
same
right.
Here, Adam. The real success I had in situations where somebody had some dysfunctional relationships with diet and their bodies and that kind of stuff was when I worked concurrently with a therapist. I would get a client like this, and I would eventually convince them to work with a therapist. Then the therapist and I would work together. That's when I saw success. But if they didn't have us two, Later on, I got a little better because I had worked with so many therapists at that point that I kind of knew what questions to ask and kind of, they asked me, how do I get lean and how do I get strong? And I knew like, that's not really what we need to focus on. But if I didn't have that other support there, it was like, you see me twice a week. I'm training you. I'm not a professional therapist. Like this isn't going to necessarily work.
Now that we covered that, I think it's also important to address that, there tends to be two camps when it comes to taking exogenous hormones, like estrogen. Like either you're like super anti it, you should never do that, or you're like pro default right away to it. And the truth is, I've seen in both cases. I mean, I've seen someone who gets on estrogen and it's been life-changing.
It's in the middle. The answer's in the middle.
Yeah, I've seen it completely change everything for them, and they do one by taking that. And then I've seen other people where that wasn't the answer and there was other root causes. So, this is not as simple as like don't or do. It's like we need to investigate more. There's a lot more potentially going on here.
Exogenous hormones are not the answer until they are the answer, and then they are the answer.
Yeah.